we meet, eyes that see so deep, endless hours, no sleep.
Hello, vampires, and welcome to Mystic Falling, a weekly recap podcast of CW's The Vampire Diaries from two elder millennial women who have, surprisingly, never watched the show before. I am Beth Elderkin.
I'm Abbey Kindler.
And we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 4, Family Ties. Abbey, we are in it now. We are in the groove. We are making it happen. We're living our dreams.
I'm so excited. And this episode, at the end of this episode, I had both my arms in the air. We are full in it. I'm so pumped. It's just all unleashing. I'm so excited. I love the show. We're 4 episodes in. I'm so happy.
This was definitely, I think, the lore turn. Like, this is when we start getting lore and when they start setting things up for later on in the season, which I'm excited to talk about. Because in the previous ones, we've met Elena, we've met Stefan, we've met Damon, we've met Caroline, we've met Bonnie, we've met Jenna. Jenna exists.
I texted you about this. Every once in a while, I start getting face blindness, and I can't tell Vicky and Jenna apart, and I have to recalibrate my brain to what scene I'm watching. Because it's tough, especially in some of these darker scenes with the party. Who are we looking at? What's going on? Both of these women don't look like teenagers, so it could be anyone.
It also doesn't help that they kind of swapped hairstyles for the party.
Yes.
Totally random note. If you're not watching our recaps on YouTube, highly recommend it because you can see Abby's amazing nails. Those nails are incredible.
Happy Pride!
They're Pride nails. I didn't even put that together.
Of course they're Pride nails.
Just thought they were gorgeous nails. Now they're
Thank
double
you very
gorgeous.
Much.
They're gorgeous with a message.
Gorgeous with a message and a purpose. Hooray! Yay, June!
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and do a little breakdown of this episode, talk about the highlights, and then we're going to talk about a couple of our standout moments before we get a little into the behind the scenes and just some larger lore conversations. So, Abbey, why don't you take us through Season 1, Episode 4, Family Ties?
Beth, this episode aired in October of 2009. The whole thing on this episode is basically there's going to be a Founders Day party. I love the small town stuff where it's just there's always a party for something that happened 100 years ago. And it kind of seems like something is happening in Mystic Falls every other day. And it's always an event. I'm obsessed.
I moved around a lot, so I didn't have a small town. I didn't have that upbringing. Did this party check out? Would there be just a party at the mayor's house that everybody went to? Because that was what was weird to me.
First of all, it doesn't seem like the whole town at all. I'm going to compare this again to the Gilmore Girls situation where it's not the whole town in the Gilmore Girls. It's this random group of people who control the town, and it just seems like everybody, but there's all these other people in the town that live there that are not involved in these events. And I think that's what's happening here too. All of our main characters are somehow just involved because what teenager is super psyched to go to the mayor's house? None. They simply are not.
They make it clear that Elena comes from an old family in Mystic Falls. Caroline's now, we find out she's related to the sheriff. There's money and influence within their circle. Doesn't address Bonnie, though. None of her family's there.
I love Bonnie's, there's such a... I don't know how to explain this, but it's such a CW thing of we need to advance the plot with this character, but they're not involved in the episode, so they're going to have, a silent journey.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this in a couple CW shows, and it's just funny because she doesn't say anything for the entire back half of this episode, but she has a full journey, and I love that for her.
And Stefan, he has one. He has a bad dream with a 4 creepy Damon counter.
I love that even his own brother is not immune to creepy Damon encounters.
Nope.
Yeah, Stefan wakes up from a nightmare in which he's dreaming about Elena finding out that Elena is dead. Is he dreaming that he's Elena being hunted by Damon?
I would say no. I think he's dreaming about Elena. I think that because Damon's putting this in his head. It's not first person, but it's also kind of hard for us to really determine which perspective Stefan is dreaming in because we never get in first person. It's always in third person omniscience. So it's like, I have a feeling that Damon is essentially kind of projecting a movie into Stefan's mind.
That makes sense. All right. So he wakes up from the nightmare and we get the first bits of lore where it's, hey, brother, you need to start eating human blood because I got in your brain crazy easy. So then my question becomes, is that Damon's special superpower? Or can all vampires dream walk? Or dream project?
Or is there an animal or a person with dream powers that Damon feasted on? Also, there is a very rare type of snake. If you eat the snake, you can enter people's dreams.
I think if you do enough peyote, you can enter anything you'd like. So
that is also fair and extremely accurate. No, I have a feeling that this is one of the many vampire powers. Something tells me that we're going to have about a novel's length of vampire powers before the end of the series. And I have a feeling that many of them are going to directly conflict with each other, if not downright contradict them entirely.
Oh, and then we're going to forget about some. Mm-hmm. We're going to be in a situation in which some are going to come up that we could. What would we use dreamwalking for later in the future? Nothing. We'll never talk about it again come like season 3. So he wakes up from the dream. We find out that it's Damon projecting into him, just basically kind of screwing with him. And then we also find out just like a whole bunch of information. We've just pushed aside the entire last episode. He's just like, oh, by the way, it was a mountain lion. No big deal. I've decided to stay. I'm covering my tracks. No big deal. And then we're done talking about the dead football coach history guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's done. Gone. He's gone, is dead, and no one cares. Okay. Cut to Elena. She's decided to start polishing some family heirlooms. She's just sitting at the old kitchen counter, polishing her things. And she's like, I'm going to go loan these to the mayor for this rockin' cool party with heirlooms. And we get just like a random trauma dump from her brother being like, this is stealing. How dare you? This is... And she's like, you're so dramatic. And then just like,
it's also a trauma dump, a backstory dump from Jenna. Where they have the reporter on screen. Logan Fell, I think is his name. And she's just like, the fact that they had to like give her entire backstory in the span of like 3 lines in the course of this episode was really funny to me because it just shows how little they care and that she is a prop for the plot right now. Like Jenna does not exist as a person and I have a feeling she never will.
No, but I also like the idea that like being cheated on by the news guy and getting run out of town is the biggest event that's happened in her life ever and she never stops talking about it. Because the way she talks about it with such, like, command and authority. I fled. Like, it is a defining moment for her, and it's all she talks about. Maybe it was, like, the time I got cheated on by a weatherman. Oh. My God, shut up. Yeah, so we get all this backstory about her, and then we get a very intense scene. I don't know. The scene with Caroline and Damon was very... I keep having to remind myself that she's like a teenager in these scenes because I like the scenes and then I remember she's a teenager and then all my skin crawls off my body.
They are not sugarcoating it. She is in an abusive situation. Even if he wasn't a vampire, she's still in an abusive situation. The power dynamic is entirely off. I mean, he literally tells her in this episode that he's going to kill her.
Yeah, twice. And then attempts to.
And he attempts to, yeah. And meanwhile, like, she's defending him, and part of that is compulsion, but part of that is also the abuse cycle. Like, this is something that happens. And
it is.
As uncomfortable as it was to watch, I actually feel like the show handled it pretty well, particularly the final scene with Caroline and Elena, where she's just saying, I'm fine.
I agree with you. And it's crazy that they were able to do an entire abuse arc, I'll call it that, in the span of an episode that made sense and wasn't bad. Because we got to just see the full cycle of it. Because she is covered in bite marks all over the place. Not just her neck. She has to cover up her neck, but everything else. She's got like one on her back, on her shoulder, on her stomach, all kinds of places. And she's just like, this seems kind of like a lot. But then he starts being nice to her and love bombing her, and she's back in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks if, if she's real good about spreading rumors. And she's like, girl, it's my specialty.
Did not need to ask twice.
No, I'm absolutely in it. Anyway, I'm going to need you to go and just info dump on our local witch. And then you have to make her swear that she won't tell. And then she'll immediately go tell Elena, which is exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we tell this long... There's a lot of information about Catherine in this episode that all kinds of comes out in bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, there was a fire. The boys were involved. Catherine died in this fire? Is that what I was supposed to take from this?
I think that's what we're supposed to take at this point.
Okay.
I don't think that's what happened. Something tells me the omissions say a lot. I do not believe Catherine was in the fire and died. I don't. Maybe she did, but she came back as a vampire or something, or she was a vampire already.
Listen, I'm of the mind this is a CW show. They are say and show that Catherine looks exactly like Elena. There is no way we don't make it to at least season 4 without Damon and Stefan both dating Catherine and Elena, because Catherine has come back as some sort of different being or something of that nature, and this actress gets to do a split screen Parent Trap situation. I fully believe that this will happen. I would bet money on it almost. I know nothing about the show. Has to have happened at some point. I can't wait to find out if I'm right or wrong. But moving on, in the storyline that I don't think anyone cares about is Vicky and trying to go out with the boyfriend Tyler. Is it Tyler? I genuinely
think it's
don't care.
Tyler. Yeah.
So Tyler, there's this whole thing where he refuses to acknowledge her at the restaurant, and then she's like, I can't believe he didn't invite me. So he invites her, and then they go, but they have to go like in through the back door so that no one can be seen. He's like he's the mayor's kid. Is that what's happening here?
That's what yeah, he's the mayor's son.
And she's like, oh, honey, you're so beautiful and smart. And she leaves. She's like, oh, trash. Because she's a two-faced lion mayor. How dare she?
Well, I think the guy is the mayor. I think
she's the mayor's wife.
I think she's the mayor's wife. Yeah.
Okay. And so there's that story, and then she ends up going back to Jeremy, and the line, I want to make one more mistake tonight, I don't think that landed the way she wanted it to. I'd have made her leave. Be like, no, get out of here. No. How dare you?
If Jeremy had any wits about him as a character and as a human being, he would have not done that. He would have stopped her and asked her what was wrong and talked with her and given her a chance to process, because clearly she's going through something. But considering how he previously tried to help her by slut-shaming her in the middle of the bar, he's not going to do it right. Let's just say he's not going to make any right choices in this situation. God, this character he needs to be fixed. How do we fix him? He needs to be fixed.
We need to fix him. I just don't even like this whole side plot. I'm sure it's leading somewhere. God, I hope it's leading somewhere, but I'm not on board with it right now. But just as a side note, dealing with his mom, she is very fixated on getting pocket watch. Yeah. There is an heirloom pocket watch that she is trying to get her hands on. She thinks she's missing it. It's supposed to be in the collection. It's from Elena's family, and Elena gives it to Jeremy because it's supposed to be his. It was supposed to be for him, passed down to him by their father, so she leaves it with him before the party. And then she's just like, hey, where's that like cute little pocket watch? Not that I care. Not that I care like at all. It's fine. No worries, just whatever. But she does not get her hands on it in this episode.
No. And it's clear that it's not just for the heirloom exhibit. There's clearly something else that this serves.
The only other thing that's happening during the party is that Damon goes with Caroline. They go steal a brown crystal of some sort, or like an amber crystal. And my favorite part of the scene is she is such a bad person to pull if you need somebody to be your puppet, because he like posts her up at the door. You stay here. And he immediately moves to do his thing. She also immediately moves.
Yeah.
He gave her one command and she immediately didn't do it. She didn't even ask why. She just went, oh, no, I'm not doing that. What are you doing? Why are you stealing? You can't do that. What's going on? She starts fully causing a scene. I love Caroline so much. She's not used to not knowing everything and not being the center of attention. So if something is drawing Damon's attention, she's got to know what it is. What's this? What's going on? What are you looking at? Is it shiny? I want to look at it. Can I touch it? Are you stealing?
We also, Elena finds something interesting in the heirloom collection.
Wait.
The town charter.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I was like, what did we find? I missed a part. Yes, she found the town charter. And she's like, oh, look, it has all these names. And just starts, I'm just going to say it, autistically reading them out loud. This would be me. I would just be loudly at a party reading every name I see. This is why I should not be allowed to go to Ellis Island. I would just read every name that was legible to me until someone drugged me away from it. That's exactly what I would do. And she's like, look, there's names. Wait a minute. Damon, Stefan, is that you guys? What's going on? I love that she's just like on the cusp of understanding. She's like, she's so close.
She's so close. But like, just, yeah, she's close, but something is holding her back. I would say it's just reality. But at this point, no, you know what? I think she's the right amount of suspicious at this point. I'm going to give her the props. I don't think she's being willfully obtuse.
No, I don't either. I also think your brain protects you from information because your brain is trying to like make sense of things and fill in gaps. And she's just like, no, his hand wasn't really that bloody the other day. Those were like, she starts calling them bruises on Caroline's body later. They were bruises. They were bite marks. They weren't even kind of like, so it's her brain is rewriting itself to make it make sense. Because why would somebody be covered in bite marks? That's an insane thing to be covered in. Probably not a thing. These names that she's right there. She's so close. She's just like a vampire's fang away from understanding. So she finds that they make up this story about how they're the brothers from before. And then there's like this weird, I'm going to dance with Elena from Damon so he can like sow all these seeds of doubt in her brain. Elena goes full teenage paranoia. Stefan, tell me everything about your love life. What's your body count? Who have you been with? What's going on? Tell me all about her. Is she prettier than me? I have questions. Stefan's like, I'm not talking to you about any of this. I have to go because I'm trying to poison my brother.
Yes, because there's this whole thing with vervain, which was given to Elena in a necklace in the previous episode. And so nephew Zach is like, yeah, the vervain you think is all gone. No, I've got like a secret stash. And something tells me, Abby, we'll find more secret stashes of vervain.
There's going to be
there's going to be an entire forest of vervain at some point by the time the series is over.
Listen, let's just call back to our previous show. In Once Upon a Time, magic beans were an impossible thing to find. Only one of legend lived, and we must use it so carefully. By the end of the season, by the end of season 7, you can find them anywhere. Everyone had a secret one somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think we're gonna find out that this nephew has greenhouses and hydroponics everywhere. He is growing it in every nook and cranny of Mystic Falls that he can. Because he does make a comment that this has been something that's passed down to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Like the lore in this episode, if you are someone that likes lore, you are, as the kids say, eating. You are eating this episode. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. And Zach gives Stefan a concentrated dose. Stefan pulls a rumple from Once Upon a Time, fails, but it was all part of his plan.
Ha ha ha.
And then he tricks Damon by giving Caroline the vervain in her champagne, and then when Damon feeds on her, he gets the vervain, which leads me to a question that I'm sure I will be asking a lot over the course of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't everybody just drinking Verbain all the time?
Put it in the water supply, Batman style, Scarecrow style, poison the water supply.
Dude!
It will stop the vampires.
You can save everybody. Why does she need to have it on a necklace if she can just can they just make a needle dose and put it in the blood? It's just in the veins forever?
It's like getting a dose of bee venom to make yourself less allergic. Like you're just giving yourself a low dose to build up an immunity. We're given a vaccine.
The vamp vaccine.
The vamp scene.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So anyway, this is what takes Damon down is when he tries to kill Caroline. So Caroline is alive. Elena catches all the bruising and I see now I'm calling it bruising, all the bite marks on Caroline and tries to be like, no, none of this is okay. Confronts Damon. She's like, you suck. Goes and finds Stefan and she's like, hey, listen, your brother really sucks and I'm sorry that I let him get in my head. He's like, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you got there. I actually have to go though. Because he has to go make sure he's standing over Damon's body, giving him 2 middle fingers while he's down on the ground.
Man, Stefan does himself no favors here.
No, because his petty revenge, and I guess probably just regular revenge, is keeping him from Elena, which is probably a journey that he's going to need to go on to figure out if love or revenge is more important. Where have we seen this before?
Is history repeating itself, maybe?
Interesting.
And that's the episode. We got lots of lore. We got lots of. Oh, did I miss something? Did you miss? Did we miss
Bonnie's
something?
Bonnie's a firebender.
Yeah.
The end.
Bonnie does fire, and no one talks to her.
No one talks to Bonnie, and she's just sitting around lighting tiny fires all day.
Lighting tiny fires and staring.
The loner in the corner lighting fires with her brain.
This actress, I feel bad for her. I hope things start to turn around for her character. I hope she starts. I just want her to become the most powerful being of all time and murder everybody, and then she gets to just rule.
Yes.
Maybe that'll happen. We'll see.
Maybe that's exactly what happens. You've just discovered the season 3 plot.
Yes. And season 4, season 5. Well, Abby, what was your standout moment of this episode?
My standout moment, and we've talked about it a little bit, but it is just going to be Caroline's arc in this, and not from the... We've touched on the part where they're doing justice to an abusive relationship. I will just say that I really enjoyed the dynamic of being actually scary. Because at one point they're doing a little lampshading of having Damon read. He's reading Twilight. Yeah. Although I think he's actually reading New Moon. I don't remember which one he's reading. And he has a lot of opinions. And he's like, all of this is wrong. They can't sparkling in the sunlight, not something I do, but it's because I have this ring that I can go out in the sun. It's a long story. I'll tell you about it in 3 episodes. But I like the way they portray Caroline understanding that he's a vampire, not being super chill with the fact that he's a vampire, and still trying to be herself amongst all of those things. And then the scene with Elena discovering them. And I mean, let's just be real. Elena is a girl's girl because she just dropped everything. The moment she saw any damage on Caroline, she was immediately about to rip Damon's eyeballs out. And that's the energy you need for finding out something terrible is happening to a friend of yours. Not even if it's a best friend or a close friend, but just anybody, honestly.
Yeah, and she doesn't shame her at any point.
Nope.
There's no, what were you wearing? What were you doing? How could you trust him? No, she immediately goes to Damon and is like, I hate you. This is your fault. Yeah. Don't be a dick. Leave her alone. Because she is a victim in this situation. And he, he's taking advantage of her, and her mom's the sheriff. And apparently also maybe a vampire hunter.
And also her dad ran away with another man?
Yeah, this was a very 2009 nod to LGBTQ.
Don't worry, there's gay people here. They're just not on screen and in a different state. No one panic.
Also, they're the butt of a joke. Because this is a one-off line designed to humiliate the mom.
I guess.
It was like, okay, this seems weird and regressive.
I would like to point out that I also, and we're going to talk about it, but I appreciate that. No, I'm not going to step on it because we're going to talk about your standout moment, and I'll tell you what I appreciate.
Well, let's go ahead and get into it because mine is the closing scene of the episode.
Yes.
I mean, it's short, not a lot happens, but I just wanted to take a moment to kind of, to pull it out because it is the first, not only really big lore drop that we're getting, the bigger conversation, particularly about, we're definitely getting some hints about the history of the town being more than just the Salvatore brothers. Like, they didn't just exist in this town. The town is connected to them and they're connected to the town. So it's the Lockwoods who are the mayor and his wife, and their name goes all the way back to the founding. Caroline's mom, the sheriff, is also there. I believe her name goes all the way back to the charter too, because that's why Elena was reading all the names, was because so we could hear them being reiterated of, these people go all the way back to the beginning.
Yes.
And then they basically talk about, there's vampires here. We know it's happening. They're back. Oh shit, we need that watch. We're not going to say why because it's vague right now, but we all know why we need the watch, which, you know what? I appreciate, because they don't need to explain it.
Could you imagine just one of them just explaining it? We need the watch. Why? Because inside of that watch is the soul of a Time Lord, and we will awaken. So, sorry. I got very early 2000s Tumblr, a Doctor Who. But I like this scene because, A, I'm now very aware that there's going to be an episode where we do a period episode.
Yeah.
There's going to be everyone's relatives probably being played by themselves. We're all going to wear period clothing. It's all going to be wonderful. And I love this. I love that the town doesn't just it's not living in fear of the vampires. It's living in spite of the vampires. And it lives outside of that. Like, they ran them off, but also, like, the vampire's family is growing the plants that take down the vampires. Like, a lot happened.
It also explains why they're pushing the narrative that it was animal attacks. Because nobody's that stupid. Like, it's, the sheriff, the mayor, the reporter on the news are all in on it because they don't want a panic to come out. But it's like, somebody had to, like, understand this isn't just a dog or a mountain lion. It's very specific to vampires. We all know the vampires as a myth exist in this world because he was reading Twilight. So they understand what a vampire is theoretically. But it just kind of makes sense that there's a cover-up going on. The one book lore drop that I'll give for this episode, it relates to Logan Fell.
Okay.
Not a character in the book, but Fell, the last name, is very important in the story. The town is actually called Fell's Church in the book, not Mystic Falls.
Okay.
I understand why they changed it, because Mystic Falls sounds spookier than Fell's Church.
Yes.
But apparently Fell is a family from the origins of the town. And this was way, way, way back when. Like, this was like in the 1600s or something. This was even before the 1800s. And they were vampire hunters and, like, part of this secret society. The founders basically exist to, like, fight the vampires or something like that. Like, there's all sorts of stuff. But suffice to say, I did like that his name was Logan Fell, because once I saw that name, I was like, oh, he's in on it somehow. Like, when he came and sat down, I was like, I'll get the watch. I was like, true colors, man. I saw it coming.
I see you. I do appreciate that they are all in positions of power as well. Like, they make such a nice, like, it's the mayor and his family. It's the news. It's the police. They're all in on it. They control the town. I also love the idea that Twilight exists in this world and they have to be super weird about it. You know what I mean? Like, I imagine like Vicky is trying to be like, Mom, I'm going to go see the new Twilight movie. And then her mom launches into this long speech about vampires are evil and terrible and that's not even correct. And Vicky's just like, blah, 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 blah. Mom, I'm going to go see it. Edward's so pretty.
Well, Abby, I want to take a moment to go into our little fashion corner.
Yeah.
I had a few things I wanted to highlight, but I first wanted to get what inspired you this week in the fashions.
Oh, it was all of the, I'm going to use air quotes here for our audio listeners, fancy outfits.
2009 junior prom.
Oh, guys, you go to the mayor's house, you are not wearing a strapless mini. I don't know what's going. They're all great and they all look stunning in them because they're all beautiful. Like, so let's not get it. Let's not look at it backwards here, but it's not what you would have worn to the mayor's house. This is what you hold on to your hats, kids. This is what you would have worn to the club. This is the kind of like almost business casual chunky necklace and a blazer situation that you would have worn out to a bar. And this like outfit you would have worn to go dancing. But there were different outfits if you were dressing up to go to a nice event.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, these are teenagers.
Agreed.
So, like, you know.
Well, Jenna's not.
No. Oh my God, Jenna's dress. I got, see, like, I swear, I see about 10 copies of her dress every time I go to a thrift store. This dress haunts me because I could never wear it. And I wanted to, but I'm glad I never did because, dear God, that dress is terrible. Like, it was a style, like the neck, like around the neck, goes down the breast, then goes underneath, and then it's animal print.
Always animal print. Always animal print. And I think it was Elena's, I think it was Elena's dress that was the strapless one. And I just remember strapless was such a big early 2000s thing. We all wore them, but none of us could get them to stay up. So we all had to spend our entire evening hiking them up over our chest all the time. They didn't, like, we don't get to see Elena doing that because she has hers probably surgically attached to her body with gaffer's tape or something. But like, you'd go out and you're just like, 3 drinks in and you're like at standing out front waiting for a taxi and you're just desperately trying to make sure your dress has stayed up. Because they put this like they put like a weird rubber fabric on the inside that would try to hold it, but it would flip out. It was a whole thing.
I mean, I was too distracted by her Bumpit. Because that was a look. When the moment I saw her hair poof, the Bumpit hair look, where younger listeners, let me take you on a journey. Pull up a chair. Let me take you on a journey.
Let's tell us about the early odds. Auntie Beth is going to tell us a story. Come, Beth. Beth, tell us all about it.
In the early 2000s, Jersey Shore was a thing. Hence the animal print. Hence the hair. We as women would literally buy like pieces of foam that were designed to be put underneath your like half ponytail to make it bigger, or you would literally put it at your bangs to make your bangs giant. And like, it was so stupid. I also miss it a little bit, but that's a side note. But like, I'm sorry, I did not like this hair on her because it really made her head look long and like it kind of it was too tight on the back of her head, and so it made her head look super long and lanky.
You can't have everything, guys. You just simply cannot. A Bumpit is made for teasable hair. Your hair needs to be teased. It needs to have a wave to it. So Elena, again, a stunning girl, but Elena's slicked back, straight, thin hair, not thin, fine hair is not going to play well to a bump. Because you're like you said, it's why I never did the bump thing. It's because I have a longer face. Adding a bump just elongated it in a way that you couldn't deal with. And I also had the same problem. I had the super straight hair. You had to really like tease it and screw up your hair a bunch. Jersey Shore, all their hair was over processed and easy to tease and hide. I'm not kidding. If you don't know what a Bumpit is, go to YouTube and look up Bumpit infomercial. It is crazy that people bought this thing. It was a piece of hard plastic. And you would put it in your hair and you would tease your hair and comb it over on top of it. Because if you couldn't tease it enough to get the bump, let's just add hardware to the situation. Because what's better than a drunk girl in 6-inch heels barreling out of a club with a hard plastic, like just chunk of plastic on her hair, charging at you. is bad. I'm surprised more people didn't get like impaled. But yeah, Bumpits.
I'll
amazing.
add a link to the trailer in the show notes.
Oh my god, guys.
But I think my favorite fashion moment of the episode was Caroline's braid.
Oh.
The halo. Like, they did not miss with this. They were definitely going for angelic, you know, because she is in a demonic situation. So they were definitely hyping up the innocence.
She is an innocent, yes.
But oh my god, that braid, immaculate.
That
I
is a
dream
braid.
I could have braids like that.
That is the holy grail of braids.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you I've spent the number of times I've tried to do that to my own hair, first of all, I don't think it's possible. Like, I don't think you can do that to yourself.
No.
That is something that is done by 3 trained professionals looming over you with several combs and a strict focus. And one of them is just holding your head still. But it's so stunning. I couldn't stop looking at it. You're right. They made her look like the innocent, the sacrifice, this, you know, I was fully convinced she'd die at the end of the episode. That's how good this braid was. I thought it was a death braid.
And as a final note for Caroline regarding this whole like innocence abuse thing, given that, you know, we've seen her in her lingerie, she had sex very quickly, all this stuff, it would be very easy for them to fall into like a whore trope where, you know, essentially like Elena blaming her, like she brought this on herself, a very slut shaming kind of thing, which would have been very 2009.
Very 2009.
I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad that she's a sexual person, but she also is young and innocent, and like basically there's her and then there's Vicky. Vicky is the version, the 2009 version that I do not approve of.
Correct. And everything about Caroline just says like she's just a teenager. Like everything about her, like you can't even be mad at her. You're just like, this is what the popular girl teenager would be doing. She would have a matching underwear bra set that is also seafoam green. Because I don't know why, but that to me also just spoke to her innocence. Like it's such a like choice of just be like, it's a matching set, but it's also hella cute.
Oh, super cute.
She's so super cute. Like, it's not, like, I'm sure she thought, not that she didn't, but it was like, I'm sure she was like, oh, look how sexy and cute this is. It's just cute. It's just, she's cute as a little button. And that speaks to her innocence. But anyway, yeah, you're right. Like, they did a really good job with this. It's weird how much I enjoyed this arc for being as creepy and, I mean, just genuinely upsetting it is, but they handled it very well.
Yes. And Abby, that was our episode. Season 1, episode 4, Family Ties. Dun, dun, dun. Things are starting to heat up. Be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, wherever you get the podcasts. Make sure to also follow us on YouTube, where you can watch the video version, see our faces. Ding. And you can also follow us on Instagram at mystic_falling. We're also working on a TikTok page as well. We're going to be back with season 1, episode 5, You're Undead to Me, where Damon has been incarcerated. And I'm sure he's going to stay that way and nothing's going to change.
Nope. He's just going to be locked up for the next, like, several seasons.
You know what? I bet this wasn't even all part of Damon's plan. I bet Damon totally did not get himself caught on purpose, a la Rumpelstiltskin.
No.
Totally didn't happen.
Oh, hold on. Let's make a prediction right now. How long do you think it'll take Damon to escape his prison?
Well, in the next episode.
I know, but like in the next episode, yes.
I would say either 2/3 through or at the end.
Okay.
Something tells me it's going to be at the end, and we're going to find out he could have gotten out the whole time.
I'm thinking second act. I'll just go against the grain on that one. I'll just say I think it's the second act. I don't think they do it in the first act immediately. I'm going to say a second act, and then maybe he just doesn't appear for the rest of the episode.
Ooh, so we don't know where he is.
So we don't know where he is. Like, that is just my prediction about knowing absolutely nothing about the episode other than the title.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this latest episode of Mystic Falling. We will see you next time. And in the meantime, make sure to keep your ring on, drink that vervain, and Abbey, make sure you get that Bumpit in because we want to see that volume.
The higher, the better.
Ooh.